Kyrie Irving has still not taken the vaccine, and according to New York law, he is not allowed to play in Nets home games without it. But actually, he's not playing for the Nets at all because Nets GM Sean Marks said, "We will not permit any member of our team to participate with part-time availability." So I'm going to tell you what this says about Kyrie and what this means for the Nets. Hello everyone, welcome back to Into Sports. I'm your host Evan. Before I talk Kyrie and the Nets, do me a big favor and click the subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. But anyways, let me get to the negative first, and then I'll give you the positive of the Nets-Kyrie situation. But once again, Kyrie Irving has proven himself to be the most frustrating and unreliable star in the NBA. If you remember, last year, he took a couple weeks off without even telling his coach, Steve Nash, for who knows what reason. At the very least, tell your coach you're not going to be there for a little while. But even when he does show up, Kyrie has a laundry list of an injury history. He has failed to finish 4 of his 7 career playoff trips due to injury. Now that's not his fault, but the best ability is availability. And we know Kyrie Irving is a little bit of a oddball guy. This is Mr. Earth is flat. And also, he was reportedly angry after winning the 2016 finals. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I'm going to speculate that Kyrie likes the fact that he holds the cards in this game. It is literally so easy for him to correct this situation. All he has to do is drive 5 minutes to the local pharmacy and roll up his sleeve. But instead, he is holding the Nets hostage. And there was also a report that Kyrie would retire if he was traded away from the Nets. So Kyrie is killing his trade value by saying that. And he's giving the Nets no options. He's not able to be traded, and he's not able to play because he's not getting the vaccine. He's putting the Nets in a very difficult situation. But I think Kyrie likes to feel valuable. I think this could be an ego play. Because remember, Kyrie demanded a trade from Cleveland just a year after winning the title. Why? Well, LeBron gets most of the credit with the Cavs, and Kyrie felt overshadowed. But nobody demands a trade away from LeBron. Guys like AD demand trades to join LeBron. So is Kyrie maybe a little less urgent to get the vaccine because he says, you know what? I've become overshadowed in Brooklyn. Let's see how you guys fare without me. I don't know. I'm throwing it out there because I think it's possible. So Kyrie has proven once again to be the most frustrating and unreliable star in the NBA, whether that be because of injuries, ego, or frankly, just a unique personality. But here is the silver lining for the Nets. Even without Kyrie Irving, the Nets can still easily win a title. And that's coming from me, the biggest Nets doubter last year. Because if you remember, the Nets had a firm grasp on that Bucks series in the Eastern Conference semifinals last year, and that was without Harden until Kyrie sprained his ankle in Game 3, then things went downhill. So all the Nets needed to win that series last year was 2 of the big 3, and I think that's all they need to win a title this year. Because even with just 1 of the big 3 healthy, Durant, Kyrie, Harden, the Nets were a Kevin Durant shoe size away from beating the future champion Bucks in a Game 7. So my question to you is, if the Nets don't win the title, who will? The Lakers are the second most favored team according to Vegas, but I'm not in love with the Westbrook trade or really any of their offseason moves in general. I might be the only one, but I'm not blown away by the Lakers offseason. I don't think LeBron is just a cut above the rest of the league anymore like he was in Cleveland or Miami. And in fact, if anyone is a cut above the league right now, it's Kevin Durant, and he's on the Nets. The third most favorite team is surprisingly the Warriors. But this is the same team that didn't even make the playoffs last year. Now, you add 2 rookies, but they are still teenagers. And you also, of course, add Klay Thompson, who's coming off an ACL tear and an Achilles tear. Hasn't played basketball in 2 years. So I'm skeptical about the Warriors despite their new pieces. And then the fourth most favorite team is the Bucks, the defending world champion. Vegas kind of tells you what they think of them right there. But we all know the Nets, with even just Durant plus one of Kyrie or Harden, win that series in a landslide last year. And that is not debatable. So I don't see another team that's even on the class of the Nets. And that's without Kyrie Irving. And you add in the fact that he can potentially come back later in the year if New York changes their COVID policies in just a couple of months. So what Kyrie's absence really means is now the Nets can't afford an injury to Durant or Harden. But if the Nets have 2 of their big 3, especially if Durant is one of the 2, the Nets are winning the title. So Kyrie's reluctance to help his team and get vaccinated once again shows why he is the most unreliable star in the NBA. But it doesn't kill the Nets. It just means they're an injury away from being out of championship contention.